Usually, garden paths are heavy, so they require careful preparation of the base. My path is light and at the same time quite strong. I view this as a continuation of the revolution in constructing ultra-affordable paths. Paving the space between garden beds can minimize vegetable garden maintenance. The elements of such paths will allow you to easily and quickly create a patio area in the garden or a comfortable area in front of the pool. You can even make a blind area around the house this way. A section of this path is many times lighter than paving slabs, natural stone, natural paving stones, or poured concrete. That's why I suggest a very simple and efficient installation method where you don't even need to remove the turf. In the off-season, you can make such paths in a convenient location, transport them in your vehicle, unload them easily, and install them quickly. Even a housewife can make such paths, spending very little time and effort. Inexpensive building materials are available for purchase at hardware stores en route to the country house. Until now, only oligarchs could afford such paths, but now everything should change because progress is with us. Such a path is a road to a new, comfortable life, a path with a floating effect which is very easy to keep looking neat. And all this for mere pennies, minimum work, maximum convenience, and beauty. Viewers of the Songs of Yasha Kosyak channel are the first to learn this important information. And now, let's go over everything step by step. Hello everyone? After I made an innovative garden path last year, which was about 90% lightweight Penaplex, I thought it would be impossible to come up with a simpler and cheaper path. But it turned out to be possible after all. The previous video about the paths generated significant viewer interest. That's why I concluded that good roads, or rather paths, are very much needed in our post-Soviet space. Especially those that you can make yourself on your own property or at your summer house without waiting for someone else to do it. After all, not every city is as lucky with its mayors as, for example, Moscow. On average, we have pretty good roads here in Belarus too, but there's still room for improvement. Once again, I'm using standard Penaple's comfort sheets, 3 centimeters thick, which I roughened with a saw blade detached from its handle before gluing. Using construction polyurethane adhesive foam, I glued together a blank made of 8 whole sheets of Penaplex. According to my plan, I need a blank measuring 2 meters 40 centimeters by 2 meters 40 centimeters. So from the 9th sheet, I cut narrow strips with a utility knife, and by adding them, I'll be able to reach the required dimensions. 2 strips cut from the edges already have a rabbit. I easily cut rabbits in 2 more strips as well. With them, the glued joint will be stronger. Even the video is pretty short this time because everything is so simple that there's no way to drag it out or cleverly try to make the video longer. Some not very kind people interpret my fondness for extruded polystyrene foam, which is what Penaplex is, as a diagnosis. Like, I'm totally crazy and obsessed with XPS, I want to object to that. I cut off the excess hardened adhesive foam. I believe my views are much broader than that. For example, a few videos ago on the channel Yasha Koshek's Songs, there was a video about restoring a wrecked Italian sports car. There, EPS wasn't used at all. The previous video was actually about beekeeping. Links to sources are below the video. Check for yourself. It's not my fault most people mainly watch the Penaplex videos, so it's definitely not about me here. And I think the title of King of EPS got attached to me for no reason. I cut off the extra quarters from both sides. Then I cut the blanks into 3 strips, each 80 centimeters wide and 2 meters 40 centimeters long. Then I cut each strip into 3 equal parts. Thus, from the original blank, I got 9 identical squares with sides of 80 centimeters. I'll explain later why these specific sizes were chosen. I cut out blanks from alkali-resistant plaster fiberglass mesh based on the size of the square. According to proper technology, Penaplex is actually used in construction for both roads and pathways. It reduces soil freezing, preventing frost heaving, which can damage even strong concrete. I'm mixing the compound for gluing and plastering the insulation sheets. Special compounds for tile adhesive are widely available at hardware stores, produced by many manufacturers at similar prices. Various types of fiberglass mesh are also sold there. I'm applying a base reinforcing layer to the squares. The surface is in a horizontal position, so no plastering skills are needed at all. I use a wide putty knife to make it relatively even. Penoplex is suitable for insulating blind areas. Plinths, floors, walls, ceilings, attics, roofs, and balconies, meaning it is used for insulating houses along the perimeter. So this is not improvisation at all. A basic reinforcing layer is used to strengthen Penoplex insulated facades. July in our Homel region turned out to be very hot and humid. The thin layers of the mixture that usually dry quickly and need moistening in the heat are drying slowly this time. That's why I put the pieces out in the sun, but it's actually better when they dry more slowly. I just got really impatient. I want a new path made of Penoplex and as soon as possible. Then I repeat everything on the other side. It's convenient to make such paths while standing upright. You can even do it sitting on a bench. In other words, you can do it in a position that's comfortable for your back. For us working folks, our backs never rest. We constantly bend them for capitalists, the state, or ourselves. The more paved space there is, the easier our lives will be. Super efficient, tall, warm garden beds allow us to feed ourselves without much garden space. Lawns look nice, but are not easy to maintain. Ideally, I should dedicate at least one whole day each week to tidying up the yard. Then everything looks more or less decent. When I do it less frequently, the vegetation begins to take over. So that you can clearly see how simple and easy it is, I won't speed up this part. The serrated side of the trowel allows you to apply the adhesive evenly. My wife and I are against the exploitation of man by man, so we exploit each other. It's a pity there's no fertilizer you could sprinkle on the grass to make it even greener, but at the same time temporarily stop it from growing, for example, for a month or a month and a half. In recent years, the cost of hiring construction specialists has increased significantly, while the quality of their work has visibly declined. Many of these so-called experts are capable of simply ruining our building materials, because what they produce in the end can't be described in polite words. Here you take your time and do it yourself, for yourself. And most importantly, there's no one to blame if you mess up. You can only scold yourself, but it's almost impossible to mess up such a simple job. Where there's foam board under the tiles in our main house, everything is great. Where there wasn't any under the tiles, like on the terrace, the tiles came loose over the years. I wanted to post an ad and try to give the old tiles to someone who could use them. But then I got the idea for a new path. The tiles are frost resistant, square, and 40 centimeters on each side. The size of 2 tiles is already 80 centimeters, and 3 tiles make 120 centimeters. At first, I plan to make the path panels the size of 6 tiles, 2 tiles wide, 3 tiles long, which means 80 by 120 centimeters. After considering the weight of the tiles, I decided to make the panels the size of 4 tiles. That is 80 by 80 centimeters. That way, it'll be just what the doctor ordered and there shouldn't be any back strain during moving and installation. And a width of 80 centimeters is quite enough for a garden path. That's why I decided to give the old tiles a new life. Recycled products are more popular than ever globally, and being trendy is cool, especially now. Life in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics was enjoyable but austere. To get any kind of ceramic tile, you had to work really hard, and such walkways could probably only be afforded by members of the Politburo. Nowadays, everything has changed, and the selection of tiles is huge. You can even get used ones for free, like I did. You can buy them very cheaply from leftover collections of previous seasons. A pressure washer helps a lot, but a sponge with shampoo is an extra powerful force. Friends, I've already complained to you more than once about the basement of our main house, which, due to mistakes made during waterproofing work, ends up looking like this when the groundwater rises. And getting to the canned goods becomes possible only in fishing boots. I kept putting off fixing the waterproofing, but I can't delay any longer. It's time to start taking action. Here's what I decided. If you keep up with modern construction technologies, you can save a lot and make your life much easier. To waterproof and protect concrete from water damage, roofing felt or bitumen are commonly used materials. But this kind of protection only lasts about 5 to 10 years, and for the same money you can protect concrete once and for all. Penetrating waterproofing contains special reagents that, when in contact with water, cause the growth of insoluble crystals deep inside the concrete. These crystals seal all cavities and micro cracks, completely blocking water from getting in. This truly permanent protection becomes part of the concrete and works as long as the building itself stands. Soviet chemists first developed Aquatron mixtures for the military-industrial complex. It is now used to protect existing buildings. It is applied to the surface with a regular brush, but the mixture penetrates up to 20 centimeters deep. Aquatron 12 is added to the liquid concrete mix, so the reagents are immediately distributed throughout the entire volume. In addition to the main penetrating protection, Aquatron creates an external armor layer. It protects the reinforcement and pipes inside the concrete from rust, increases the concrete's frost resistance, and prevents nasty black mold from appearing. The mixture has antifungal properties, and if you add Aquatron to the liquid concrete, the mix becomes more plastic and the concrete structure becomes stronger. By the way, the well-known American counterpart only has a single penetrating effect, even though it costs 4 times more. If the old foundation is already leaking, the only traditional way is to dig around the building from the outside and renew the external protection. But with Aquatron, it's enough to treat the walls inside the basement. This is how the concrete dries after applying Aquatron. The mixture penetrated inside, blocked the leaks, and then even naturally dried out the concrete. This multifunctional and long-lasting protection is no costlier than regular roofing felt. Apply it once for permanent results. All the work can be done by yourself. You can read more about penetrating waterproofing in a very thorough article on the IXBT portal. Links to the article and the manufacturer's website are in the video description. If you don't mind, please share your opinion on this matter. I'm on the right track, aren't I? I mix tile adhesive and become a tiler who doesn't bend under circumstances. Laying floored tiles, crawling on my knees, I work with my back straight. They won't be able to bend us anymore. Progress is on our side. By us, I mean gardeners, vegetable growers, and home handymen. You don't need real tiling skills just to lay 4 tiles on each blank. Blanks made of Penoplex with basic reinforcing layers applied on both sides turn into elements of a strong and lightweight composite material, and they distribute the load very well. Tiles glued on with tile adhesive make the surface of such walkway panels extremely durable, while still keeping them relatively lightweight, compared for example to concrete slabs and paving tiles. You can even use broken tiles, creating truly designer walkways. You might even get paid for its disposal, just like for taking out the trash. For walkways like these, I recommend buying tiles because they're worth the investment. High quality Gear East tiles have excellent frost resistance. They're rarely used for finishing garden paths and patios because they require very serious and expensive preliminary work. Because first, you need to remove at least half a meter of soil in depth, then fill and compact construction sand, fill and compact crushed stone, then make a reinforced concrete screed at least 10 centimeters thick, and wait at least a month for everything to set. And only after that, on this golden foundation, you can lay expensive tiles, because after such investments, you just won't have the heart to buy cheap tiles. Until now, only oligarchs could afford something like this, for example, in areas adjacent to expensive swimming pools. But the time has come to change everything. A way has been found to save a lot on the base under the tiles. First, I grouted the joints with the same tile adhesive. They dried, turned light gray, and blended in with the beige tiles. So I quickly regrouted and decided to splurge on store-bought grout. I also thought that this method could be great for making paved areas for things like patios. Let's have a patio for every 500 square meters. Roads and paths, these are all very serious matters. While coming up with a new option, I was fully aware of the responsibility I had taken on. I even started having almost identical nightmares that the collective genetic memory of the channel's viewers had turned against me, and all the comments became pretty much the same. What are you doing, Yasha Kosyak? How could you dare to challenge age-old, no, millennia-old traditions? We've always lived practically without roads, let alone walkways, and now you, Kosyak, have shown that anyone can make simple and cheap walkways for themselves. Why? Why did you go against our familiar and beloved lack of roads? Go away and do this nonsense wherever you want, but leave us alone. We don't need your walkways. If we had roads, even Napoleon would have settled the score with us. And how would Susannin have led the Poles and Lithuanians to their doom in the swamps if our forests looked like city parks? Hey, Koshak, you really are a Koshak. We still need to figure out whose side your Belarusian ancestors were on back in those ancient times. He doesn't look like a very strong guy, but look how easily he pulls that concrete thing. With paths like these, you'll be able to show off in front of your neighbors. They'll think you're a disguised bodybuilder. In these nightmares, I even made excuses, saying we were just like them, regular people. Life has always been tough for us, whether under the Lord or the landowner. Lenin's arrival changed things. He actively promoted progress, including the light bulb named after him. That's why I want to raise the banner of progress even higher. With the banner of progress in my hands, I would climb onto the orange armored car, chant "Our progress is with us," and that's usually where I would wake up. Friends, please be more gentle in your comments. I actually have nightmares about this. Unfortunately, we couldn't get rid of the markup process. Everything is as usual. With the new paths, I decided to minimize the cost and reduce the labor involved in laying them to almost nothing. To lay the previous path, I only removed the sod. A year later, the path remains firm, so this time I chose not to remove the sod at all. Innovative paths require an innovative installation method. The distance between the marking strings is just a bit narrower than the path panels. I made it 75 centimeters. Because of the terrain, at first the path will go in one plane, then it will transition to another. I marked the transition at a distance that is a multiple of the whole number of path panels. At first glance, the seemingly flat area actually has quite significant elevation changes over a very small width. Last year, I rebuilt the sliding gate using a high-tech composite based on Penaplex for the filling. I had some old corrugated metal sheets left, which I decided to use as well. I cut strips 10 centimeters wide. Thanks to the corrugation, these strips can easily be driven into the ground using a block and a rubber mallet, and you can set their position precisely along the marking string. I've noticed that even on YouTube builders do some unrealistically labor-intensive concrete work to organize paths and terraces. Colleagues are mercilessly straining their backs. And all that just to make garden paths, which never really have any serious loads on them. At cost price, just over 8 sheets of Penaplex Comfort were needed for a path slightly longer than 7 meters. 2 bags of insulation adhesive, about 15 meters of fiberglass mesh, less than a bag of tile adhesive, a little bit of polyurethane foam adhesive, less than a sheet of used corrugated metal, and free tiles. You can estimate the cost based on prices in your area. It will be very cheap everywhere. This way, it's really easy to make something like guides, so that parts of the path lie very evenly. Everything is precise, like in a pharmacy. You can sometimes find rough foam board called foam board wall, which is even more convenient to use. It's just that we had a promotion on the smooth one, and it's very quick to roughen it up. But it's beautiful, isn't it? This part of the yard immediately got an expensive, luxurious look. It even looks like a path with a floating effect. A reasonable question might arise, where does this wonderful path lead? First of all, I hope it leads to a bright life. And for us personally, it also leads to a new huge pool made of Penaplex, which we plan to build here and which I want to take on. Since the previous mini pool, Coupiel, made of Penaplex, showed very high performance characteristics over the year. I removed 2 marking cords and stretched a new one along the edge. If you have extra sand and cement, you can make a dry mix. I strive for the most budget-friendly solutions, and as an intuitive structural engineer, I believe that regular soil will work just fine for the base of light paths. You can support the ultra-cheap construction innovations featured on the Pesniyashi Koshyaka channel by using the sponsor button on YouTube. Viewers from Russia can do this through the Boosty service. I'll leave the link below the video. The idea is that as the soil under the path becomes more compacted, it will slowly settle along with the profiled sheeting edging markers, which in turn will prevent the soil from spreading out from under the path. And this whole simple system provides a solid and even foundation, as well as a very easy and physically effortless installation, which I hope I have clearly demonstrated. That's why I think it's important to urgently share this information with friends, family, and all good people. Stop hunching, it's time to live comfortably. The string on the right doesn't match the required level since the level is already set. It's only for checking the accuracy of the direction. Comrades, with paths like these, a new life should begin for all of us. In my free time, I tried out such paths between our tall, warm garden beds. I liked it. A platform made of such panels can decorate any garden, allowing you to quickly create a cozy patio. The same kind of paved area can be arranged in front of the pool for gatherings or sunbathing. Garden wheelbarrow paths can support heavy loads, but using them on Rublayavka oligarchs' paths is bad manners. They are for relaxation, not for work. Despite the risk of slipping in rubber boots, these paths lead us to a brighter life. Women summer residents should only walk in high heels, while men gardeners should wear expensive dress shoes. Especially now with such savings, there should be enough even for Louboutin for my wife. You can make such road elements at your leisure in the winter. For example, in a heated garage or even in your apartment on the balcony. You can transport them in your own car and install them quickly. You can buy Penoplex at any hardware store or order it online. Check out the link below and give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to Pesny Yashe Koshaka, my Zen, TikTok, and Instagram. Links are in the description. Hit the bell to stay updated. Let there be peace worldwide. Thanks.